Welcome to GatorsZone.com. I'm Chris Harry. He's Scott Carter, and the Florida Gators will renew a very old rivalry with the University of Miami this weekend down at Sun Life Stadium in Miami. Scott, it'll be the 55th meeting between these two teams, and a lot of hardcore fans don't realize that this rivalry, which dates to 1938, used to be every bit the bloodbath, every bit as ferocious as Florida State, Georgia, Auburn. Those kind of rivalries have been for the Gators over the years. Kind of put this rivalry in context for the fans.
Yeah, I mean, these schools played every year from 1938 to 1987, and it was a game that especially old school Florida and Miami fans remember very well. It's hard to remember some of the great moments in the rivalry. One of the famous ones is the flop down in Miami in 1971. You got, most recently, they played here in 2008. Gators won pretty easily on the way to their third national title. And this will be the first time they played since that game here. And it's also the last time that they could play in a while because these two schools do not have a schedule set where they'll face each other. So that's hopefully maybe gets changed down the road. But right now, we're looking at Saturday and the renewal of a once great rivalry, and we're expecting a sold-out stadium there at Sun Life, and it's going to be a pretty jacked game.
It's only the sixth time these two teams have played since the annual rivalry was shut down in 1987. Now, Florida had a pretty good defensive showing last week against a pretty good Toledo offense. Things are a little bit different this week against a Miami team with a very high-powered offense, but the Gators will get back Antonio Morrison at inside linebacker, and they'll get back cornerback Luchez Purifoy, shutdown corner that should help stabilize some things on the other side of the ball, make things a little more tougher for the Canes.
Yeah, as good as the Gators did play against Toledo, limiting the Rockets to 205 yards of total offense. I mean, anytime you get players like Morrison and Purifoy back in the lineup, I mean, DJ Durkin, the defensive coordinator, has to be a pretty happy guy because when you look at Miami's offense, it's going to start with Stephen Morris at quarterback and Duke Johnson in the backfield. Duke Johnson's a guy who the Florida coaches have talked a lot about this week. He's an explosive running back, loves to go up the middle, gut the defenses, and, you know, Cody Riggs yesterday in talking to the media, Florida safety, said basically you've got to stay in your gap against him because if you get out of it, he's going to find the right hole to run through. And I think he's got 6 runs of 50 or more yards the last couple of years. So, I mean, that just shows his explosiveness right there. And he'll obviously be a huge target for the Florida defense.
On the offensive side of the ball, there were some catcalls from Gator fans this week who are still looking for the explosive sort of plays. Now, if you base a lot of what we're talking about this weekend on what Miami did defensively last year, this could be the week, could be opportunity for Florida to break out offensively. You talk about a Miami team that was 112th in total defense last year, gave up almost 470 yards a game. In 7 games, they gave up 30 or more points. 4 games, they gave up 40 or more. 1, they gave up 50 or more. Could this be a game where maybe Jeff Driscoll gets a little more at ease and maybe chucks it around a little bit as fans want to see?
Well, you know, based on recent history, you'd think those opportunities should be there. And, you know, after the win over Toledo, you know, there was talk about, is this the game that they open up the offense and give Driscoll more of those opportunities down the field? We won't know until Saturday, but certainly Miami's shown in the past that you can move the ball against them. And as good as Florida's running game was against Toledo, I mean, you know, if they can run the ball like that and set up some things in the passing game, that should only help Driscoll. And, you know, that's going to be their plan, you know, obviously in this game. And as they move forward to every game, it's going to start with the run. And you got Matt Jones back. We're going to see him for the first time in the 2013 season. Mac Brown's coming off a 112-yard game against Toledo. So having those two options back there, if they're running and helping Driscoll out, could be a good day for Florida's offense.
We'll be there after the game to wrap things up from Sun Life Stadium. He's Scott Carter. I'm Chris Harry. We're Gator Zone, and we'll see you after the game.